I want to start Rahab's story by reading 2 verses from the New Testament that refer to her. The first one is from Hebrews 11, which many call the chapter of heroes of our faith, and it's awesome that she's in there. So Hebrews 11:31 says, "By faith the harlot Rahab did not perish with those who did not believe when she had received the spies with peace." And then in James 2:25, it says, "Likewise was not Rahab the harlot also justified by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also." So I want us to look at Rahab's story with fresh eyes of this was a woman of faith and action. So we find Rahab's story in Joshua chapter 2. Joshua had told the spies to go check out Jericho and see what they could find out. And so chapter 2 verse 1, it says, "So they went and came to the house of a harlot named Rahab and lodged there." I think the spies went there, hopefully not to use Rahab, but because it would be a very common place that lots of men would be going in and out of, so it would be less conspicuous to the soldiers in Jericho. News traveled really fast that there were spies in the city, and soldiers come knocking on Rahab's door. And instead of turning them over or even just hiding them in one of her rooms, she is smart and crafty, and she goes and hides them on the roof, which I'm sure was not an easy task, that she had to move around the hay and pile it on top of them. So I'm sure it took some work to keep these men safe. And then I think it's just kind of funny that the Bible includes this, that she basically told the soldiers, "Oh, over there, they ran over there," and the soldier just believed her and took off that other direction. But I think, again, it shows that Rahab was wise. It also shows that she was extremely brave. I'm sure she could have gotten in so much trouble for hiding the spies, but she knew she had to do what was right and protect these men. Then in Joshua 2 verses 9 through 13, she has an amazing conversation with them. She says, "I know the Lord has given you the land, and that the terror of you has fallen on all of us. For we heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you, and how you killed the other kings. And our hearts melted inside of us. Neither did any courage remain in anyone because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now therefore, I beg you, swear to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you also will show me kindness and save my father's house, to spare my father, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and all they have, and deliver our lives from death." I love that conversation shows the faith Rahab had in the God of Israel. And so the spies make a deal with her basically and say, "If you help us escape and you don't tell anybody about us, we promise you that we will come back and save you." Their only condition was that she kept the red cord in her window so that they could easily identify it, and that she have all of her family there so that it could be a quick getaway. And of course, it's a beautiful symbolism that it was a red rope that they were saved by, and so that's a symbol of the blood of Jesus that we are all saved by. Rahab gathered all her family at her house, but then they would have just had to sit and wait, because it's not until Joshua chapter 6 that they even get to Jericho. So they had to cross the Jordan, and they had to do all these other things, and they just were sitting, waiting. And it makes me think that so much of faith is like that. You're holding on to Jesus, and you're waiting, saying, "Lord, when's my deliverance coming? I'm trusting you. I'm ready. I'm doing my part." And that's what we see with Rahab. Because even when Israel does come, they march around the city for 7 days. And so I'm sure once Rahab and her family sees them marching, they're like, "Okay, here it comes. Day 1, no. Day 2, no. Day 3, no," until finally we get to day 7. We see in Joshua 6:16 and 17, Joshua says to the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city. Now the city shall be doomed by the Lord to destruction, it and all who are in it. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And so I love that this picture shows the red cord there. And we know that the spies went and saved her whole family, and that they would have been running away as the destruction happens. And I think that's such a beautiful image. The destruction might be happening all around us, but when we are faithful to God, when we put our trust in God, we will be saved from it. Finally, in Joshua 6:25, it says, "And Joshua spared Rahab the harlot and her father's household, and she dwells in Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent out." So again, what we learn from Rahab is you first of all have to have faith. She had faith in a God that was not even her God that she had grown up with, but she saw the works of God, and she said, "I'm going to believe in the God of Israel." And then she put action to her works by saying, "I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to be kind to these men, and I'm going to rescue these men, and then I'm going to ask for salvation." She also used her words. I love that she had a conversation with the spies and were like, "Hey, I did this nice thing for you. You owe me." And so she was so brave and so courageous and had faith in the God of Israel. And because God honors faith, Rahab went from being a harlot in Jericho to being in the house of Israel and being in the line of not only King David, but also Jesus.